12 seconds. 2 actions. From the moment the breaching charges explode in a blinding pulse of purplish magic, first expanding to encompass the space of the large steel and mahogany doors guarding Vecna's top floor penthouse, and then in a black hole rush of energy collapse in on itself, leaving a gaping hole in the wall. The clock inexorably begins its second-hand march towards the end. 12. The door implodes, and immediately you hear the shouting of casting of 2 cult leaders as they release a held spell, their mandibles replaced with metallic ones to mimic the mechanical perfection of their leader, clacking together in an arcane blast of energy. Who, in this group, would have been standing near the doors ready to charge in? So, Ronan, you take 25 points of fire damage. Kavuli, you take 33 points of fire damage as 2 fireballs explode at the entrance of the doorway. You were told that Vecna would not see you coming, that he would not expect your arrival, but it seems that he is quite prepared for you. I need everyone to roll initiative. As that clock that you cannot see but feel the pressure of strikes 11, Kiv and Danny are up. So what would you all like to do? You're looking into a penthouse apartment. It is beautifully furnished. There's a large open area here. The entire back wall is a 3-story glass wall that overlooks the shining neon metropolis of Terminus. There's a massive staircase that goes up towards where you assume like the master bedrooms and suites are, but all of the furniture in this space has been moved aside, and at the back right in front of the glass walls you see that they have built a dais upon which Vecna in his metallic body form is currently floating over glowing runes. The 2 spellcasters who attacked you are standing to either side of him on the platform, and you see 2 hulking whisper core mining bots that are now repurposed here as guardian behemoths standing between you and Vecna and the cultists. So Kavuli and Danny, what would you like to do?
I want to send my echo forward after the fireball hit as a precaution. Send my echo in first. Yeah, I want to try to make an attack on them there.
As the Echo Knight with its laser sword slashes out and hits this creature, carving, melting the metal of the metallic behemoth in front of you in these sparks of light.
Our mission's like going in, right?
Yeah, your mission is to shut down Vecna's rituals so he cannot become a god.
Sure, I'm just focused on the magic users then.
Sounds good. Okay.
What is it with us and people wanting to become gods?
What's it with D&D and people wanting to become gods?
So true. I'll cast like 5th level shatter on them.
Cool. So that is a Constitution saving throw. You'll get Vecna and one of the spellcasters. Then the clock hits 9. The 2 cyborg spellcasters point their arms out at the nearest members of the agency, and 1 greenish yellow rune on their arms alight. It travels down to the tip of their finger, and they release a sickeningly green bolt of energy in Kavuli's direction. Yeah, so you take no damage as the disintegrate spell that was coming in your direction just kind of, you parry the beam away and it slams into the wall behind you, burning a hole in the side of Vecna's chamber. The other spellcaster is going to point in the direction of our remaining crew. 8 runes pop up around the spellcaster's head, and they spiral around, and 1 beam of energy from each of those runes flies in your direction, which takes us to the clock hitting 8.
All right, I want to sprint in and cut around to the side and find debris on the side of the caster who's been hit already by the shatter. And I am going to use a arrow of walloping.
I am going to sprint in, and I'm going to cast harm on Vecna. And then she will run up to one of the mechanical hulking guys who's in the way. She pulls out her baton and flicks it open, and you notice that it is glowing.
Love
So
clerics.
she hit.
Hitting in the areas where already damaged by Kiv's attack, weakening it down. You can see elements of its joints beginning to come apart. It's looking like it's in a pretty rough state. 2 bulwarks are going to make their attacks. Massive creature that was designed to break down granite walls in mines as it was digging through the elemental plane of Earth. Brings that mining implement down, and you dodge out of the way a little bit. The clock hits 7. Turning from his dais, Vecna, the gleaming metallic body, shunning any trace of the weakness of flesh, activates the second ring of runes around him, etching as liquid fire, lifting him up in the shimmering heat into the air, as an electrical discharge of energy explodes around him, and instead of turning and attacking you all, moves over to a node on one of the runes. And the moment it stands there, the electrical energy shooting around that room erupts up the spellcaster, consuming all of the skin and muscle and bones, leaving only the metallic components left, which clatter down to the ground as Vecna sucks the life energy out of the spellcaster and into the rune, and you see the rune glow brighter. 4. Sarah and Ronan.
I run the west of the ray to Vecna, swing my bag around, pull out the 2 paddles, clear and empty the entire 10 charges from my defibrillator into Vecna.
Fantastic. That's an attack roll.
These are all new characters.
They are all new characters
for
and new
a lot of
classes.
us.
No,
And high level.
I'm rolling like ass is the problem.
Oh, well, that's fine. Call an ambulance, but not for me.
And it courses through the metallic body of Vecna, and you can see like parts of his joints popping and moving with the surge of electrical energy there. He does take full damage from it, but he floats a little bit higher.
Okay, I don't know if Vecna's going to fail a strength 10, DC 10 saving throw, but I'm going to shoot him with a walloping arrow.
Okay, then the clock hits 1. Vecna Natalik's arms reach up towards the gathering, and like the energy has been coalescing around him and is kind of centered at a point above his head. And he reaches up and rips this energy wide to allow a greater rush of energy into the room from some outer plane that he has managed to burst into with this spell. He has not completed the spell. He is not yet a god, but you all look up and see this swirling portal begin to open above your heads, and you can feel yourselves being lifted off the ground as gravity reverses, and one by one you feel yourself sucked into the portal that Vecna created, and darkness follows. Memories begin to flood each of you as elements of your past, of your future, of alternate realities that you've never encountered before begin to fly past you in swirls as you're sucked to some time and place unknown to you. Kiv, you find yourself floating in an endless ocean of water, the calm seas lifting you up and then bobbing you into valleys between the waves. But when you open your eyes, you're not in the ocean. A greenish liquid glowing with magical arcane energy bubbles with runes emblazoned in their reflections floating around your body. You look out through the tank and see a team of scientists taking notes. You gasp, taking a rush of the liquid into your lungs, and you feel it burning, tearing the atoms of your body apart. And when you look to the left and right, you see an endless echo of yourself in identical tubes disappearing into the distance. You blink once. You cannot breathe. You blink again. Watch all the other versions of yourself blink in a line. You take a gulping breath, blink, and again, you're walking down the hallway of the agency. Rory Light striding next to you, the stern and scarred leader of the agency. It's the day of the assault on Vecna. She was reminding you of the intel of the penthouse. Kiv, are you paying attention? You don't always take good notes in our meetings. Do you know what your role is in this endeavor?
I'm paying attention. I find things, I hit them. I got it.
It's a little bit more complex than that. You're dealing with a high-level arcane user here.
Yeah, well, over at the other arcane guys around, right?
Well, perhaps we had one that was supposed to be on the journey with you, and they disappeared from their room last night, and we haven't seen them since.
If they can't take care of themselves, then maybe they shouldn't be on this mission.
Well, get in, knock him out, shut it down.
Hit them hard, hit them fast. I got it.
That's what we pay you for. You close your eyes for a moment and breathe as darkness washes over you, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
A stream of hearts and emojis floods across your vision as the numbers of concurrent viewers tick up. You're about to hit your personal daily record. What does your stream look like today?
It's very like pastel e-boy heart like setup, like very Harajuku Japan looking. You can see like his avatar, especially when he's streaming, is very like VTuber-ish. Even if you look at Danny, like he looks like a filter on top of a person. Like it looks like a 2D thing or like a weird 3D 2D thing. And he's got like the little cat ears and everything.
Chat suddenly starts to send out requests. Dance, sing us a song. This is so boring today. Yeah, the vibes aren't here. Do something interesting. And the last command hits you with a force. You feel some element of yourself being pulled away as the numbers begin to decline. How do you save this live?
Well, sometimes people just need a little convincing. You'd be surprised.
And you blink for a moment and darkness hits you. Sarah G. Your vision clears and you're standing over a gurney. There's a man with a gunshot wound in his shoulder cursing, "What the fuck? Stop the bleeding!" You recognize him from the Neon Syndicate. He was dropped off at your door in an unmarked vehicle. He was unconscious, but now he's very much awake, the drugs hitting his system. What do you do?
I'm going to just sit back and enjoy the ride. Trust me, this is going to be fun. You'll be fine. I'll take care of it. You're in good hands. And I start to use my healer kit to fix the wound.
Fantastic. Make a medicine check for me, please.
29.
29. Okay, so you're able to stop the bleeding, and you can tell that the bullet round is still in there. And you're with the medicine check, you are intensely aware that it was a magical round, that there's something in here that's timed that is going to go off if you can't stop it in some way before, but you don't know what the timing on it is.
Dispel magic.
Okay, so go ahead and make a check with your spellcasting modifier.
And I roll a 14.
14, perfect. So you dispel magic.
I rolled a 10 with the force. So.
Nice. You release the magical energy into the wound, and you just feel the what it was pulsing and building on this gun, on this bullet wound, suddenly kind of ceases, and the man's focus and attention begins to nod. Like whatever that was, the pain of that was what was keeping him awake. And he crashes back out just as he was about to curse you again for not providing him with more drugs or whatever.
I told you to enjoy the trip. I hope you do know. I hope you have weird dreams. Not bad dreams, but weird dreams.
The ambulance pulls up and the doors open, and your fellow EMTs are there to help you lift him up out and get him into the hospital. As you jump out of the ambulance, you step into a room that you only recently saw, a beautifully appointed medical suite here. You kind of take a step back and look into the hallway and notice like your door two doors down, and Rory Light is standing in the middle of this newly renovated apartment complex where you've requested a medical thing here. And she says, "Well, your services came highly recommended. I hope they were worth this." And you blink for a moment, and darkness washes back over us as Ronan. There's the sound of laughter and drinks clinking together, and the faces around you are faces ready for action. You've been planning this night for months, and tonight is the night. You take a drink, your eyes come down, and when you look back up towards the table, you're looking out of a van. There's rain pouring down against it, as rain often does on the neon streets of Terminus. And you can see one of your compatriots across the way kind of splicing into a terminal, and the call finally comes up over it. You're up, Ronan. The gate is a 10-minute timer, so you've just got a minute to break through and get us all in before the system resets.
Very well. I'll go take care of it.
Okay, cool. So you get out into the wet streets, your boots sloshing into the gutter wash as you make your way over to this facility, which is not clearly marked as a corporate agency, but is a shell distribution area for one of the corporate areas here. And he is holding kind of a cover over the port. You can make a roll to try to unlock the gate here.
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand.
Okay. 24.
24. So you take your basically like your breaker tools in, and you start rewiring the security system here. And you're able to maneuver the wirings around just enough to splice in between the moment where the system resets so that the door opens, and your compatriots have a minute to rush in, and you as well behind them before the door slides closed back behind you. But you'll be able to open it up easier from the other side. And as the door clinks behind you and you look up, you're sitting on the ground, and there is one of your friends cradled in your arms. There's a horrible looking wound on his right shoulder near the neck area, blood pouring down his chest, and he's looking. Ronan, I didn't think that they would know we would be here. It was supposed to be covert.
Don't worry about that right now. What were you planning on doing next? I'm gonna keep him talking and try to make a medicine check to make sure that he's all right.
Go ahead and make a medicine check. And he says, we were just supposed to hack into the system and retrieve the information to pass on to the. What was your medicine check?
So I have reliable talent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 16.
You know enough to know that a man is spending his last words telling you how a plan failed.
Mm-hmm.
And he continues to talk through this. And for a moment, you just make sure the blood is clear. And as you blink for a moment, you open your eyes and you hear, "You're late, Ronan. We were just about to begin the meeting, but glad you could join us," as Rory Light opens the door to the conference room. And you enter in to find Danny Cavuli and Sarah G there as well. But it's interesting. You all see as Ronan comes in, it's just like it was before the Vecna meeting. But that happened hours ago. You were in Vecna's room. You were there fighting him. You were perhaps succeeding in preventing his attempts. But instead, you've been ripped back in time. The room looks the same. There's the beautiful mahogany table with the glassed coating, the large screens displaying the blueprints of Vecna's penthouse apartment, the reports that were brought in from spies from the agency who had embedded within the Whisper Core. There's the beautiful windows overlooking. Wait, that's not Terminus that it's overlooking. You see a field of stars and galaxies spread out as far as you can see into a vast and unimaginable distance. You're in a conference room, but it doesn't look like you're in Terminus anymore.